usage-wise with this backfield, would you like to see it the same as last year, or should they lean a little more to Jahmyr Gibbs as the RB1?
Man, they could keep it the way they were doing it and switch way. I mean, I'm really not pressed. I will say this, though. We know running backs in NFL, the reason why they're devalued is you put a lot of mileage on them and it wears and tears in their body. They just, at a certain point, don't hold up. Guys like King Henry are just like the anomalies when it comes to that. And even he looked a little bit slower at times. That guy is still really good. It's crazy as the Baltimore Ravens right now. Regardless, though, they keep it the way they're doing it right now. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see a step back from, I don't even want to say this. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I just wouldn't be surprised if Gibbs does take this thing the full reins. We saw towards the back half of last season, Gibbs actually getting like a few like red zone snaps when primarily that was David Montgomery's role. But I could see him taking a step back just because natural wear and tear on the body of a guy who's plays very physical style of running the ball, which is David Montgomery. But Jahmyr Gibbs definitely deserves more touches, even if they decide to do that. But I like keeping them fresh. Keep it split. I ain't tripping.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
I would agree. I kind of backed off. My take originally was that I'd like to see Gibbs be the RB1, but then when me and Kenny kind of broke it down, shout out KG, by the way, he did fantastic when he was on his first in-studio desk appearance, but they were kind of RB1, RB1A. Like, there wasn't really a solidified running back one last year, and we saw how the snap share went. They're each going to get theirs. They're still going to get theirs. These are guys that you can put in, and it's not like they're not typecast like Denzel Washington. It's not like you know what's going to happen when they're out there. Montgomery can catch the ball out of the backfield pretty damn well. And we saw Jahmyr Gibbs can run between the tackles pretty damn well. So it's not like when Jahmyr Gibbs is out there, it's like, oh, it's going to be a pass play. And when Montgomery's out there, oh, it's going to be a run. No, you don't know what's going to happen. So I think they're going to do the same thing they did last year, give them both an equal amount of touches, but now it's going to be a full year of it. Because remember, the first couple games last year, Jahmyr wasn't really involved in the offense. So I'm excited to see what they do. And I talked about it with KG. I think they're going to get a little tricky. Maybe some wildcat snaps with Montgomery, who is a former quarterback, taking a ball, running a read option with Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe they run both of them in the backfield at the same time. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs lined up as a slot and using a motion to bring him in the backfield or on a sweep like they do with J-Mo. Like, I think they're going to get a little freaky with these guys out there.
They should do it.
Yeah.
That's what we were kind of promised. That was what Jahmyr Gibbs was advertised as all offseason. Come regular season.
Weapon.
He was a running back. However, I will say this. They did give him opportunities early on in the season. And actually, even in the Chicago game, the one at Chicago, where we actually still had a fighting chance, he dropped like a walk-in touchdown on the flats. He did the same against, I don't know if it would have been a touchdown, but knowing him now, probably would have been against the Seattle Seahawks. Like, the hands, as much as they were hyped in camp, and I'm not trying to knock them, but they weren't what we were promised, per se. So we didn't get to see him as that weapon. We didn't get to see him like run routes out of the slot. I mean, you saw him obviously line up there and do it, but nothing was ever actually like thrown his way. I'm hoping to see that step out or that breakout for Jahmyr Gibbs. But that's one of those things, man. Hands, like I don't know if you could teach those things at this point in these guys' careers. Like, rarely ever have you seen guys get better hands. And
honestly, I think it was just the yips.
Rookie.
I don't think that's what his hands were. I think it was
fair, yeah.
A little bit of the yips. He was they didn't really go back to it that much throughout the season. Like it was a couple times, and those stand out because he didn't get many passes thrown to him. So the couple that he did bobble. But I'm pretty confident that he's going to be a good receiving back. I think he just had the yips a little bit.
I think they stand out because it was more of like big situations that could have broken like the games open. That's why it does stand out. But I think it could have easily be just like a rookie running back. I mean, maybe afraid to, get popped over the middle as well, which like we've seen Jared Goff, we talked about it, lead his guys well, like stay out of the danger zones. But when it comes to Jahmyr Gibbs, for me, I think he's way too explosive to not give him more touches, specifically 25 to 25, just tearing up the middle. I think you see DeMont more, closer to our own goal line and closer to the opposing team's goal line. That's where I want DeMont to get those short, hard yards to get. And I want to see Gibbs in open space in the 25 to 25. I think that's how this offense is going to groove, and I think that's how they're actually going to run this team, with Gibbs getting more carries between the 25s.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Sorry, I'm looking at. I just saw
Chris, what are you thinking
Chris,
about?
yeah, how you feeling, Chris?
About what?
Seriously?
Yeah, I blame what portion of the Gibbs? Oh, the workload.
Yeah, workload.
Like the workload. No, I think it is going to lean more Gibbs this season, but I think it will stick pretty traditionally, because I think that Montgomery just running between the tackles consistently and just pounding the ball. I think that kind of leads to Jahmyr Gibbs being able to be dynamic. So I think it kind of works better that way than the inverse. So I would say that they add some new wrinkles, because Ben Johnson always does every year, and there's going to be changes, but I would say it remains pretty much similar to what it was.
Sorry, I'm preparing for this conversation with Peter, because I finally got to look up some of the tweets he put out there and his claims that the Green Bay Packers offense is better than the Detroit Lions. And I'm just looking at the numbers he pulled out there and just the relevance to like the actual game in itself. But I'm all in for Gibbs to get more touches. I don't think anybody can say no to it. But I also, just to keep him fresh in a 17-game season, split the carries. I mean, even let Vikai get a few of those things too, especially in those games where it's kind of like he's already out of reach. Well, if we have, obviously, but keep those guys fresh, because we're going to need them for the playoffs.
Yeah. And I think they complement each other well. Like you said, you got Vaki, you got Craig Reynolds as well. Like there's going to be a lot of touches to go around, and you got a lot of fresh legs to be running the ball. So
I mean, shoot, we even still got Ibrahim, who I still had some expectation for before he got hurt in that Bears game.
I thought he got signed somewhere else.
Did he? I can look it up. Mo Ibrahim.
So would an expectation for you guys be this year,
Still
just
Lions.
when we're talking about splits, for
He's free agent.
Monty to have more touchdowns and Gibbs to have more yards? Is that how you would probably break it down if you had to predict?
Yeah. I can see that, because I agree with what Nick said. You're gonna use Montgomery inside the 20s more, and you're gonna use Gibbs in the middle of the field for those explosive plays. But also, like, we've seen, Gibbs is a pretty damn good finisher in the red zone too. So we'll see.
We shall see.
Shout out Antoine Winfield.
Shout out Antoine Winfield. Yeah.
Bodied.
There
Another
Dude,
thing,
I fucking love. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, watching him play football, man.
He's got one of the nastiest dead legs in the league.
Yes.
Already. I would honestly, I have in the past claimed him as a top 5 guy in the league. That's why if you're gonna put these type of running back stables or backfields and rank them, like maybe it's just me ranking him in that top 5, but I know it's not just me. I've seen other people do it. It's wild just not to have the Detroit Lions on there. It's absolutely insane. But
we've seen Gibbs have like 52 catches last year, but I think that number gets up to 75,
Gibbs
maybe
had
even
52
80.
catches
last year. I think he gets up to.
Did not feel.
I think he gets up to 75, 80. Honestly, I think it was the rookie yips a little bit, and then we got away from it because, as we've seen, if Goff cannot trust you, he will not throw you the ball as much. So I think this is a time where we exploit it with J-Mo going deep, maybe some Gibbs wheel routes, definitely a lot of screens. So I'm looking forward to see Jahmyr Gibbs being maybe the most dynamic player in this offense.
It's crazy
next season
because they kind of just phased him out in that way. It looks like throughout the season, like obviously the first couple games he didn't really play that many snaps. A few of them, he got a lot of catches in Seattle. I remember they're trying to make that drive down there. I tried to make a couple drives down there before half, but yeah, right after the last time he had 4 more receptions, or 5 or more, I should say, was Week 10 against Chicago, and that's actually when he had that big drop. No, that was W. Only 4 targets after that, or no, still 8 targets. It dropped considerably after that Chicago game.
I do not remember
2
him
targets,
catching 52 balls.
4 targets, 2 targets. There's a big one. 7 targets against Minnesota, then 3, then 1. Just the catches, I guess, weren't there.
71 targets, 52 receptions. So
wow.
Obviously, you want a better percentage.
He'll get it. I'm not tripping. I'm really not.